Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Fantastic Four issue 18, 2022. That looks pretty damn ominous. Yeah, so we've got some issues going on here, and this, again, actually fits cover-wise of what's going on in this issue. However, I like this issue a lot more than I thought I was going to because of how it gets framed up and how this whole kind of scenario kind of goes down. Because at first you're thinking, oh, okay, invisible kind of meteor strike things going on. How's this going to kind of work out? And the way we start out is a little bit different. It gets us set up there, but we're like, what? So, let's start off. This looks like empty space, but it's not. There's a chain of asteroids here, all headed for Earth, and all invisible. Sorry, not meteors, asteroids. I don't know how or why. I can't even get a clear idea of what they're made of. It's remarkable. More remarkable still, every asteroid we know about that's ever to hit Earth came from our own solar system. The one that killed the dinosaurs did, but these ones didn't. They come from a sector of deep space where, as far as I can tell, there isn't anything to send them. It's possible their origin is from outside the observable universe. At that scale, there's no way for me to say for sure. One of life's little mysteries. And we see that this is actually Franklin using his powers to kind of see what's kind of going on. And I kind of like this whole explanation of how this kind of goes down. Even I can't see everything. I'm Franklin Richards, and I'm one of the most powerful beings in the universe. I've been an immortal, a god, an Omega-level mutant. I've created life and been worshipped for it. I've ended life and been cussed out with just as much sincerity. I've been credibly told I'm going to be the only one who survives the end of this universe, the only one who passes on into the next one. And man, I gotta say, I really just want to be a kid first. And this kind of sets up this whole thing. It's like, wow, this is actually a pretty cool thing that I think that Franklin's kind of doing here. It's more than want, actually. I know I have to be. How many kids have been visited by their future selves telling them all the ways things could go wrong, as we then see that going on? Showing and telling rather than just exposition dumping. This works. How many kids have aged themselves up trying to help only to have it blow up in their faces? Yeah, you can't just skip those kind of learning things. You can't skip this part of your life. You need years to learn, to grow, to become yourself. Exactly. I like that. But with my powers, I can't be a kid. So, a while back, I came up with a solution. I don't let myself have my powers. I hide them from everyone, even myself. And then once a year, I wake up. I remember everything. I look around with my full powers, my unlimited reality-altering set, and I see where the world is at. I think that's actually a very smart and wise kind of move. Not many people would come up with that, let alone someone Franklin's age. This year, I found those invisible asteroids. So as my family sleeps and death tears towards Earth, I take what I know about the universe and what I know about my family, and use it to foresee what's going to occur. A leads to B, and so B leads to C, and so C leads to D, and so on, and so on, and so on. So, here's what happens next, as we see the kaboom and everything kind of going on. It's like, oh shit! So then we shift over to them, and for some reason, Fantastic Four are riding like invisible horses. It never really gets an explanation. I'm like, oh, okay. It's so quiet. Nothing lives here anymore. Nothing survived. I don't care what your paste pot Pete or the Red Skull care whether your paste pot's Pete or the Red Skull, Ms. Masters. What kind of supervillain blows up a forest? I don't believe one did, officers. Evidence from the crater center of the impact suggests this is an asteroid impact site, nearly Tunguska sized. A hunk of rock big enough to do all this damage and nobody saw it coming? None of you eggheads saw it in your fancy telescopes? Creepy to see y'all just floating there. I called around. Near as I can tell, not a single astronomer or telescope saw anything approach Earth. They all assure me anything big enough to do this, they would have seen it coming, as Johnny's talking about it. And yet the evidence that the crater is clear, borderline incontrovertible. I see only two conclusions. Either the impact site was somehow faked, on a scale I don't believe is possible, yeah, or this is even crazier, we're somehow dealing with an asteroid that's been turned invisible. We're investigating it, officers. Do it quick, and maybe keep your little pet theories to yourself, Dr. Storm. God, it's like you want to be hated and feared. It's like, okay, I'm here to investigate it. Why in the fuck would I send it here myself? He didn't tell him the other thing we found out. Didn't want to cause a panic. Besides, right now it's just a theory. There might not be another one coming. But if that shimmer Dr. Mack observed with her telescopes really is the result of an invisibility field, at least we know where it's likely to hit. Come on, we don't have much time. What, to get away from the asteroid? How much time do we need? The other one isn't heading towards wilderness. There's a town there, Johnny. We're flying towards the projected impact site. Wait. Sue, can we stop a killer asteroid? That sounds crazy. Oh, I have absolutely no idea whether we even can make a difference, much less one that matters, but I do know we have to try. Exactly. Well, no argument there, here, sis. What are we waiting for? Flame on! As we see them flying off. It's like, yeah. And so, I got two force fields up here. A solid one around the town and a larger permeable one around it, which is pretty smart. Leech is like, why two? And Ben's like, yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. Jonathan, can you describe the end of the reign of the dinosaurs before the Chiselub, Chiselub, maybe? I don't know how to pronounce that. Asteroid impact, sure. And then Johnny's like, yeah, they were all chilling, and then they saw it flaming across the sky, and then kaboom. And Reed's like, that's the most popular image, but it's wrong. The last few seconds of their reign were normal, Jonathan. The asteroid wasn't invisible, but without telescopes, it might as well have been. It was screaming through space at upwards of 20 kilometers a second, more than 50 times the speed of sound. There was no warning, no slowly glowing light in the sky, no asteroid majestically moving across the heavens like was simply normal one instant and hell on earth the next. As we go A to B, it's like, motherfucker, yeah, that's pretty much what would happen. So, Sue's like, lower shields to protect the town, upper ones to sense it. But whether the asteroid hits the ground or my force field, all that energy has to go somewhere. And we don't know how big it'll be. The Chiselub asteroid had billions of times more energy than an atomic bomb. Right. We need to... what happens next happens in microseconds. As we then see that it pretty much gets through the permeable one, slams into the other one, and let's see. She hardens them both after that. Spreads outward at an incredible speed, shredding the very molecules of the atmosphere into plasma, but she contains the maelstrom between her two shields. It takes strength she didn't know she had, and the ground between them is sublimated into magma and vapor. And over the terrible roar of the hell that surrounds them, Susan Storm asks her brother to absorb and redirect as much of that heat as he can. Uncle Johnny will spend the next 15 minutes firing flames out into space with fire so intense he has to be careful not to ignite the atmosphere. He's never channeled so much energy before. He hopes he never has to again. And then they're like, yay, we did it! But there's like, oh, fuck, there's more coming. And Reed's like, yep, it could be dozens, maybe seconds. And then they're going to try and do what they can do. So, let's see. They pretty much come with a plan. Reed to pretty much stretch himself out to kind of like help what's kind of going on. Johnny's kind of flaming out. So that way they can see him move with the fiery trails. Let's see. Reed pretty much stretches himself to pretty much see if he can bounce them back like bullets. And of course they're moving faster than a bullet. But they'll probably go through. And it's cool that they kind of utilize the whole Braille sign again. I like that kind of callback. As Dad leaves, Mom presses a response into his fingertips. That adventure's not over yet, mister. It's beautiful. Mushy, but beautiful. And of course, Ben pretty much gets up a telephone pole to like whack him back if he can. But they also know that won't work, and they all know it. But they also know they have to try. They have to try. And then we pretty much see the fallout of that as it's ripping through Reed, ripping through everything, and behind it rides Armageddon. Uncle Pete told me plenty of times that with great power there must also come great responsibility. Yay! Spider-Man Pete called back. And he's right. I can't not use my powers. But I also know that if I embrace them too soon, they'll destroy me, and everyone else too. This is why I give myself nights like this, so I can foresee disasters and stop them before they happen. A single nudge is all it takes. The asteroids easily shift into a new trajectory where they won't hit us or anyone else. The planet is safe. Every year I ask myself if I should keep doing this. Every year I know the answer is still yes. My mental block will restore as I sleep, and I won't remember anything. Until next year when it all comes back to me, and I do it all again. We see him kind of depowering and going back to sleep. But then we see something different that's not part of the plan. Well now, would you look at that? Someone has himself a secret. All that power, Franklin, and you never noticed old Nick Scratch spying on you in your room, in your mind. You're not the only one who can move asteroids as if by magic, child. Goodbye, Sue and Reed and Ben and Johnny and all the rest, and good riddance. Riddance, as he's like walking off. It's like, that's not good. What's going on here? So we pretty much see everything pretty much happening as we had foreseen it, and then them being like trying to figure out what to do. Whatever's making them invisible, I can't cancel it out. They're trying to figure out what's kind of going on, but it looks like we see it kind of happen a little bit differently, with Alicia prompting what's kind of going on. Like, if none of you can stop an asteroid storm, what if all of you could? And then we see this great, awesome thing of the Fantastic Four working in concert and providing a solution. What are you thinking, Alicia? Look, I'm not the science guy on the team, yeah? But there was this retro game when I was a kid where you saved cities from atomic bombs by blasting them out of the sky. Mystical Man, 1980, 103 million twin galaxies, highest score achieved in 2015. Good call there, Johnny. Sure, yes, if we could vaporize the asteroids, we'd be sitting pretty, but we don't have the power to do that. But Johnny generates fire, which means he also generates light, yeah? The same thing Sue bends. Great Scott, if Johnny generates a bright enough flame and I align all those photons, synchronize them, get them traveling in the exact same direction, then you'll produce a beam of coherent light. The world's biggest and deadliest laser, able to hit targets at the speed of thought. It's like, holy shit, this is going to be fucking interesting. Right, we could just vaporize the asteroids just by looking at them. Yes, not me. I'll need to focus on creating and maintaining the beam. Exactly. But if you had force field rollers on your eyes or something, you could use that for targeting. Ben, Reed, in a few moments, anything you even glance at is going to cease to exist, so keep your eyes on the prize. And we see that they put those on Ben and Reed as the targeting system, as of course they generate the fire, Sue bends it into the lasers, and they go and do that. But it's even better. Johnny, have Flamo give us that fire after all, then focus everything else you've got into the combustion chamber I'm building around your right hand. So, I like the use of Flamo, pretty much as a detection system, and we got them looking, we got this flaming thing here. I need the absolute brightest fire you can muster. Flame on, buddy, and it fucking works. It's the craziest damn thing possible of them. They literally utilize Missile Command to fucking deal with this problem. It sounds so stupid, but when you see it and see its execution and see the artwork just communicating it so well, it's just awesome. And then the crack-a-boom, zizak, bam, boom. That's like the use of the words as well. It's like, yeah, it's awesome. It's so enjoyable. I'm like, holy shit. The next morning, and that's what we got up to last night, kids. Saving the world from invisible asteroids. No big deal. Mother, I have repeatedly asked to be woken up for any apocalyptic events, and yet again, you let me sleep through it. Unbelievable. I love Valeria. Yeah. I don't get it, though. How did you think of the laser move thing? Alicia had the initial idea. Please, we built on it together. But that's the thing. As far as I know, you've never used your powers like that before. I would have never guessed it. That's the joy of the universe, Franklin. It's not fully predictable. Just because something hasn't happened before doesn't mean it never will. You never really know what you can and can't do, kiddo, and that's a good thing because it means there's always room for surprises. No matter how bad things get, there's always room for hope. Which, I like that. And it goes to show that, yes, Franklin should be using his powers and doing the most in his abilities, but even if things kind of fall through the cracks, the Fantastic Four, if they come together and really put their minds together, they can do these things. Huh, I actually really like that. Thanks, Mom. Plus, now me and your mom can fire laser beams whenever we want. Will you be contacting Cyclops of the X-Men to gloat? Joe talks about, oh snap, Sue, we should totally call Cyclops to gloat. Johnny? Oh, and let's get Iceman on the horn while we're at it. Ha! Imagine Bobby trying to make a laser out of his stupid ice powers. It's like, if Sue's able to do that with her like invisibility fields, Iceman should be able to utilize and do the same kind of stuff with ice as well, in a different kind of way, so, yeah. So, that's pretty much where the Fantastic Four kind of part ends, and I love seeing the ship just parked right there. Then we get S.H.I.E.L.D. Shield headquarters, location classified, but it looks to be somewhere in New York. So the good news, Ms. Hill, is that a large part of Earth didn't end in a firestorm last night. Always a plus, Mr. Pusey? Puce? P-U... P-U-S-C-E. Pusey? Pussy? I don't know. I'm butchering that pronunciation. And the better news is, while Susan and Jonathan Storm did combine their powers in a new way, it was one that, this time, we'd already speculated was possible. It's like, what? The return of the Baxter building went well, too. Excellent. There were concerns they'd, well, never mind. And as long as the Fantastic Four keep producing abilities we've foreseen, we'll know what assets we have in our corner, and how to handle them if they ever go rogue. That's like, god damn it. Always. I mean, granted, you should always try and be prepared for crazy shit happening, but this is just, it's always the issue thing. And how are these people coming up? Like, how are they figuring out that these are possible? How are they foreseeing these things? And then we get the letters, and then there's no calm before this storm as a preview for the next one. So, I like this one because I liked how it brought up that Franklin actually does still have his powers. He just chooses to be a kid and kind of go through the experience of growing up and learning and trying to be a better person before he assumes the mantle of full control of his powers, and yet still keeping in the back pocket once a year, looking and seeing what needs to be done and doing any kind of corrections that he deems worth doing. That really is, I like that story element. That works very well and allows us to have situations where Franklin doesn't have access to his powers and how he kind of handles them. I did like the whole thing of these like invisible asteroids out of nowhere and the Fantastic Four trying to figure them out. Franklin doing his thing, but then we get Missile Command fixing it at the end, and it's just, it sounds stupid, but there's a lot of stuff that have been going on in this run that if I had told you out of nowhere and didn't show you anything, you'd be like, that sounds stupid, but the execution, the art style, the writing, all works together to make it work for me, and it's what I love about it. And I'm interested to see what's going to be going on with the S.H.I.E.L.D. thing and Maria Hill. See how that kind of gets flowed in more into the story and what's going to be the end game with that. So I'm just enjoying this run. It's great art, great characters, and great crazy surprises. Like, I go in with just, okay, I'm going to be entertained, and then boom, it just gets blown out of any kind of expectations that I have. And I always look forward to this one, and I'm going to be looking forward to the next ones. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.